3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome back to Ash on Comics. I'm Ash, and I haven't done one of these type of videos in a long time. They're commentary videos. There's other people that do it better than me. Perch is one of those. You've probably already watched his video on this topic. As a matter of fact, he's just got a lot of subscribers. There's your boy Zach, also known as Comics Matter with your boy Zach, also formerly known as Diversity in Comics. You got Wes over at Thinking Critical. You've got other people that put a lot more effort, if you will, into these sort of things. And I, a while back, made the decision just to focus on talking about the books and just giving my opinion. Because there's one thing that no one can do better than me, and that's give my opinions about books. So they can give their opinions. Anyways, so if you've been paying attention, I'm sure if you're watching my video, like I said, you've seen other people. There's a big announcement, big deal, big things going on in comics. James Tynion, Jonathan Hickman, Scott Snyder, other people. I don't know who this Ostertag guy is. Other creators, Nick Spencer was the first big news, but he's Nick Spencer. No one really cared. It was like, oh, Nick Spencer's going over to Substack. What's Substack? Oh, Nick Spencer, he's ruining Spider-Man. Well, he wasn't ruining Spider-Man. He just was doing a mediocre job. No one really cared. It was whatever. But Tynion has sort of revitalized Batman over at DC for a lot of people, myself included. In fact, I would be reading Batman today if it weren't for DC Future State taking DC into a direction I don't care about. And even then, I was going to make an exception for Tynion's. I always have to say Tynion. It is pronounced Tynion. Doesn't look like it. Whatever. So James Tynion was doing a good enough job. I was enjoying it. I've liked Tynion's work since I got back into comics back in 2018. One of the big comics that pulled me into DC was The Immortal Men, done by James Tynion. I was a big advocate for his work on the Justice League Dark, and many times I thought that was the best Justice League book of the trilogy of 3 Justice League books that I loved. That pretty much all got canceled except for the main Justice League, which might as well be since you put Bendis on it, but that's neither here nor there. So Substack, Tynion is the big deal. He's not leaving DC. He's he's turned down an exclusive contract with DC. I think it was like a 3-year contract with DC to continue Batman. Presumably. He's turned that down. Now, my understanding is he is going to be doing some books still with DC. Like, he's got a creator... I think it's creator-owned book. I didn't know DC did creator-owned. I'm not really sure what this Nice House on the Lake thing is. As far as behind the scenes, maybe Perch knows more about that. I'll have to ask him. He does more of that effort putting into research and stuff. I don't do that. But, I tell you straight what I know. I don't make up shit. And if I don't know, I don't know. So I think the Nice House on the Lake, stupid name, but it's his. I'm pretty sure it's his book. Maybe DC has partial right. Anyway, who cares? We're not talking about that. My understanding is he's going to continue to do that book, and I think he's going to continue to do his books that he's doing with Boom. I would be foolish to cancel one of the hottest indie books on the market right now is the Something is Killing the Children. So anyways, but he's gonna stop doing a lot of the mainstream DC. He is leaving Batman. Issue 117 is his last issue, and he's going over to Substack. So when I heard that, I was like, even though I'm not buying DC Comics anymore, like I said, I was going to make an exception for Batman. I didn't say why. The reason why I didn't make the exception is because of the stupid price hike. The book is $5.99. If you get the art covers, I think yeah, I believe that's the $5.99 cover. It's ridiculous. $3.99 is too much for comics. Spawn is still $2.99. Todd McFarlane, he's not getting cheapo artists over there. He's still doing that book, and it's $2.99. It can be done. There's no reason Marvel or DC can't do it, except they mismanage and they're run by greedy corporations. And they got to answer to the stockholders. You got these terrible upper management that have to do their annual reports to show the money they're spending and justify their jobs. And, so they got to raise the prices. It's more complicated than that. But, man, am I getting in the weeds already. So, Tynan going over to Substack is kind of a big deal. But it's not as a big deal as I think other people are making it out to be. Now, I want to state for the record, before we go any further, I have a great deal of respect for Perch. I have a great deal of respect for Wes over Thinking Critical. I may criticize or disagree with some of their opinions, but it is not anything personal. It is not meant in any way to be disrespectful to them. I have a very non-diplomatic way of putting things sometimes, and it comes off kind of cross. I just want to put that out there. If anyone goes, "Oh, the Astros," I don't know where it's going to go if I say anything like that. If you get that impression, I'm trying to clear that. No, they seem to. I listened to both of their. They did a video on it. Seem to be kind of. I don't know if excited is the word, but at least optimistic. They're very hopeful, and Perch is one of the most optimistic, hopeful guys. His thing, and Perch, you're probably not listening to me, but if for some reason you were, sometimes I think you present things too much from a retailer perspective, and it's great. It's great. That's what gives you so much knowledge to share with people, and it's one of the reasons I love listening to you is having some of that knowledge. But for example, this idea that you present, oh, I just want everything to succeed. It's great if the Substack, if this is all successful. No, it's not. It's not. What if comics could be successful, but only on the grounds that all customers that could enjoy comics had to give their left testicle? But in doing so, comics would be totally successful. They would be raking in money hand over fist. Would that be a good thing? I know it's a stupid, absurd example, but no. And I think when there's a disconnect, I think sometimes between the retailers and the creators in comics, that Perch has a lot of on his show. They want comics to be successful because that's their business. That makes sense. If you're a car salesman, you don't want something to replace cars. You want people to keep buying cars. That's what I get that. I am a consumer. I am a fan. I don't have any investment in selling comics. My only desire for them to be successful is the desire to have the merit to be successful. I want them to be good. I don't want them to be successful because, for some other reasons. In the United States and in Western culture, this is one thing I've criticized. I mean, for the longest time, for as long as I can remember, I've had this idea that it's not even an idea. It's more of being confounded by the idea that some of the worst things are the most successful, right? Think about it. Especially not so much today, but in the early days of the internet, right? What was the biggest internet service? By far, it was AOL, right? It was also pretty much arguably, if not the worst, one of the worst services you could get for internet. But it did other things that succeeded for other reasons. If you are, I'm a beer drinker, right? All of the top beers in America, they're all shit. All the most successful beer companies, they're terrible. I don't drink them, you know, and I'm not offended, you know. Okay, that's not true. I have from time to time. Sometimes you go to a ball game, you're gonna buy a Coors, whatever. I'm not trying to offend anyone that does drink, you know, mainstream beer. But think about it. What's the most successful burger chain in the world? If not, you know, it's McDonald's. Is that the best burger? No. I think you're getting my point. And my point isn't to offend anyone. I like McDonald's. It's not that. My point is things don't succeed here because they're the best. That's our culture. They succeed for other reasons, right? Windows is the most successful operating system. Was it the best? No. It just, all the time, that's the case. Today in comics, who's the number one comic company? Marvel. Are they the best publisher? Absolutely not. I don't want things to succeed that suck. Right? I understand that that's the case, but I want comics to succeed because they're good. So I actually care about them being, I don't want to just see them succeed. And likewise with the Substack thing, I don't want this to succeed just because it's going to succeed. Now let me get there. If you've made it this far, thank you, because I'm finally getting to my point. So Substack, I was like, okay, let me look into this more. What's it going to take? Because Jonathan Hickman is the real thing for me. He's quit X-Men. He's going over. He's going to do his own thing. If you've been following me, you know that I'm a fan of Decorum. I do an indie comic show with my boy Skip. We did the whole East of West, and it's fantastic. Jonathan Hickman is someone that I've been becoming a fan of. His independent stuff has not failed me. Everyone assured me back in the day that X-Men, oh, you just wait, Ash. I know you're down on Marvel. So, well, whoa, Jonathan Hickman's on X-Men now. All bets are off. It's going to change. No, it didn't. And it's not necessarily Hickman's fault. I mean, it kind of is because his name's on the title. He took the job. But I said way back in the beginning, this is going to fail. Doesn't matter. You could put Chris Claremont back on X-Men. It will fail in spite of it because Marvel will get in the way. And sure enough, that's what we've seen. But I don't want to turn this into an X-Men video. My point is I'm excited about Hickman and what he's going to do further. So he's like, oh, he's going to Substack? Now I'm interested. What's going to go on? Let me look into what this Substack is. So the first thing I did was I went to Substack.com. Hey, let's go here. And immediately turned off. Now, I'm not going to go into myself, but I have a small background in tech. I've been in the tech industry, various parts of tech industry for a long time. And dude, this website sucks. Like it is terrible. Not because it's broken and glitchy, anything like that. It just, you go here, it's the place for independent writing. Start a newsletter, build your community. Okay, I'm here because I heard some people are going to be putting stuff on Substack and I want to consume it. There's no information here on how to consume it. It's information on how to get paid for making stuff. But even then, there's not like, okay, well, is there an about thing? Okay, there's careers. Oh, you can work for Substack. Okay, that's not what I want. Writers, get paid resources. There's nothing about like, how does Substack work? What can you do? Nothing to do that. Now, this page is slightly different up here at the top because I did actually make an account. Because again, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, so I figured maybe I need to create an account. So I have a Substack account now, and but it's for creators. I'm like, what? But I need to find Jonathan Hickman. I need to find his stuff. Where do I get this? So it turns out, just for your own knowledge, that you don't go to Substack.com. You go to on.substack.com. Now, who would know this? No one? Like, if you tell me, oh, Substack, go to Substack. Okay, I'm on Substack.com. You think they would put maybe on their website, you know, if you're interested in following someone, click here. Go on, you know, at least have a link at the top to say, you know, if you're not a creator or you're I don't know what off the top of my head how you would word it, but you know, you could. No, I found this completely by accident. I don't even remember how. Totally haphazard, and I spent hours looking into this. So I was like, okay, so now I'm here, got this on thing, and I got some little articles. And again, I'm like, this is really bland and uninteresting. This looks really utilitarian, right? Now, I get it, because Substack's not just about comics. What is Substack, Ash? I'm glad you asked. Substack is a newsletter site where you can go and create an account, and then you can create newsletters. And it's not even like a newsletter. Like, you can make newsletters without Substack. Newsletters have been around forever. Well, I mean, I haven't used newsletters in a long time, but I mean, back in the 90s and early 2000s, newsletters were a big thing. And what they are is like subscribing to an email, essentially, and that you basically get updates. I mean, mostly newsletters today are used by services to update you about products that maybe you follow, right? Like some of the most common ones for me are maybe like different restaurants or fast food chains. I just subscribe, like you put your little email, and then they send me like a couple times a month. They'll send me a thing like, hey, we got a new promotional thing that you can get, you know, and they just, you know, regularly. That's what newsletters are often used for today. Anyways, a lot of people are using newsletters for various things. I didn't realize it was still a big deal. You know why? Because I hate email. I don't know about you. When Facebook came around in the 2000s, I still use it because I have to, but as a communication tool, and funny enough, I don't use Facebook anymore, but I mean, Facebook was like my replacement. I was like, why is email is so archaic to me. It's such a, look, it was great when all you had was snail mail. Email was a cool thing, but it's so limited based on what you can do today with things like text messaging, chat services, like I said, the way like Facebook works is social media. You can make your own newsletters. I mean, that's what the brilliance about Facebook was, is I could essentially just put stuff on my feed, and if you were a friend of mine or family or whoever, you just wanted to follow me, you could come to my Facebook page and you could be like, what's Ash up to? And you could see that, you know, and you could follow each other, and that's social media, right? We all know social media. That's why I use Twitter. So I'm like, why do I want to get an email? And that's what a lot of this stuff seems to be like. Now, it's going to be a little bit longer form than like a tweet, but I don't really want to read 3-page essays from people. I mean, maybe some people do. So I was like, what? Okay, so you can deliver images, not just writing. So, okay, I guess comics, you could put stuff up there. People do podcasts, I've seen. Okay, great. So how do I interact, though? How do I find, like, say I want to get Jonathan Hickman. Where is he? Is there a way to find him? You know, it's like... So I'm on my iPad right now. That's why I'm making this video. And so I was like, I got an idea. I bet you there's an app. There's probably a Substack app that I could go and I can subscribe and I can get my... No, there's no app. There's no app. Are you fucking kidding me? There's this Substack reader, which I found actually at the bottom of the Substack shitty page, remember I told you, at the very bottom, you see in the fine print, I was like, oh, look, reader app. Yeah, I'll click on that. And it takes me to this. This is not an app. This is a website. This is a web page. And if you notice at the top, it's reader.substack.com. So that's, again, not intuitive. I wouldn't know to go to reader. Whatever. So this is what it looks like. You got to go to reader.substack.com. Again, when you're created, and you can find, there's like a discover, and you can search for people. I did comics, and I did comic books. It also has a thing where it'll search if you connect your Twitter account, anyone you follow. So, you know, I followed Jonathan Hick. It was easy to find that. So Hickman's, here we go, is his thing, is 3W3M. Look, Jonathan, you're a great guy. Maybe, I don't know you, but you've done great works. 3W3M sounds stupid. It stands for 3 Worlds, 3 Moons. Doesn't jump off, doesn't hook me. Whatever. So he's posted a couple quick things. Now, the way the thing works is you have a comment feed, which is kind of like Twitter, and you can make your little comments, and then people can comment back just like Twitter, but it's personalized for you. It's just you. You're in the spotlight because you're a diva and you don't want to compete with other people on Twitter. You can see there's tons of comments. So if I click on any of these, then you can see, look, so he's typed a bunch of stuff, and I can go and read all this. What is, and then people can comment, right? So look, there's comments. People are, it's not really intuitive. There's, you know, this looks just like Twitter comments, right? You can like them, and people, you know, that. Now, none of this is necessarily bad. You're like, Ash, I don't know, what, get to your point. What's the, okay, so it's really plain. It's boring. It doesn't grab me. If you're doing a whole thing, and this is the thing, Substack is actively reaching out to these creators. This is a, from all intents and purposes, like everything that I can see, this is a, what do you call it? Like it's a, you know, like an investment. I'm drawing a blank on what the term is, but a startup, right? They probably got a bunch of rich investors, threw a ton of money at them. Comic books is a very small industry, despite what you may think. Now, DC and Marvel are big, not because they are selling so many comics. They're big because their IPs are very lucrative, right? You can sell tons of like merchandise, toys, movie deals, things like that. That's what makes, if they did not have that, if their business literally was just to make comics, they'd be out of business. They really, I don't know, okay, maybe they may not be out of business. They'd be sweating it. But that's why. It's otherwise it's a small, I mean, there's the amount of people that work at Marvel, it's not that huge. It's a small thing. The creators, they're certainly not making that much money, relatively. So in the world of startup companies, I could understand, hey, James Tynan, how's $100,000 sound to you? Now, I just made this number up pulled it out of my ass. But, you know, here's a lucrative contract. Now, to Marvel and DC that are working on, you know, thin margins and, you know, tight cuts, and then we got the parent companies looking down. I don't think they can't afford to throw money at creators like that. But these startup companies, they got they can operate in the red for years, potentially. I mean, look at IDW; they're still operating in the red. They could throw tons of money, and my prediction is, I don't necessarily think this is going to fail. Because actually, I guess Substack's been around for 4 years. No one's heard of it till now. At least I'm sorry, but obviously people have heard of it because people have been using it, but it's not a thing. I don't think this is going to be a thing. I guess that's where I'm getting at. Unless they radically reinvent the wheel here based on, over what we have here. This is so plain and janky. And furthermore, there is no reason a big fish couldn't come in like an Amazon.com and instantly replicate this and maybe add some other bells and whistles and flash. Maybe add the ability to, I don't know, have physical product and use the whole Amazon system to, fulfill, as a fulfillment center. That would just kill this. Because all Substack is a way of basically tying your newsletter to a hub, which is Substack, and then letting people give you money. Because that's the crux here. That's what took me so long to get to is, so this is Hickman saying if you go to the subscribe, you could choose a plan. $80 a year or $8 a month, which would be even more. It's $96 a year, I think. It's now some of you got okay. You got some disposable income. $80 a year. Okay, whatever. You spend more on that on comics, Ash. You're right. I do spend more than $80 a year on comics. This is one thing, though. This is what kills me. This isn't just like, oh, look, I spend $80 a year and I get all this stuff. $80 a year and I get to subscribe to Jonathan Hickman. And who knows what the hell he's going to give me? It doesn't say. It just, you get what it says right here. I get comics, premium content, exclusive items, but not everything. You got to get the 250-year founding member for everything. I just did the free, which gives me the public posts. Because I don't know I'm not going to subscribe to something. I don't know what it is. Not for $80 a year. Sorry. Or $8 a month. Is he going to produce a comic every month? Even if he does, that's $8 comic every month. I said $3.99 is too much. And $3.99 will get me a physical book. This is just a digital thing. And Jonathan Hickman is slow. Decorum is how many months late? 4 or 5 months? I pay $3.99 for Decorum. I get a physical book. I love it. It's great. It's on the Indie Comic Show. Issue 8's coming down. We're going to feature it. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'll pay $3.99 for that. $8 a month. Because here's the thing. You got to look at the bigger picture. I'm not just a fan of Jonathan Hickman. What if every comic creator I like decided to go to this model? Now all of a sudden it's like $80 a year for Hickman, got $80 a year for Brubaker, $80 a year for Scott Snyder, $80 a year for Jeff Johns. Boom, boom, but it just starts adding up. Now some of you are like, oh, okay, look, I get some of you have the money and you could throw away, $1,000 a year on subscribing to Substack subscriptions. There's more creators that I like, and that's the problem. See, like with the comic book store, maybe every couple of months Brubaker puts out something, and then I get it, and then maybe it's like, oh look, I get Sagio Jim with a stance. There's more than 10 creators. That would be $800 a year on the Substack model like this. There's more than 10. Sometimes I just want to try out something. I don't want to have to commit and subscribe on a model like this to not even get physical books. Digital. Let's talk about digital for a second. This is why I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Comixology, purchased by Amazon.com, the biggest physical company, like the company that sells physical product in the world. The masters of distribution. Amazon is a force I mean, it's a force to be reckoned with. They can't even make digital comics a thing. It's still less than 10% of the marketplace. And I'm a big advocate. You see me, I push the Comixology Unlimited for $5.99 a month. For $5.99 a month, you can get access to the entire Unlimited library. By the way, this Snow Angels book by Jeff Lemire and Jacques is fantastic. It's one of the best books I'm reading right now. I wish it was physical because I like having physical books. But since it's part of the... I wouldn't pay for it digitally. By the way, it's only $2.99 if you want to pay for it digitally. But since I'm buying the $5.99 monthly subscription, I get to read it, and I'm really enjoying it. And if it were to come out in physical books, I would probably get, because I'm thinking about trying this Hailstone book out. Most of the Unlimited, or sorry, not the Unlimited, the Comixology Originals, to be honest, weren't really appealing to me, but lately it seems like they're changing their direction. I believe Scott Snyder, he's doing some Amazon stuff. I believe his stuff might also be on the Comixology Original. My point is, for $5.99, I get those. I also get Marvel titles. I get DC titles. All sorts of indie books. Not every book is on the Unlimited library, but tons of stuff is. Most of the Fables stuff is there. I really want to check that out. You know, the Sandman. It's not all just old stuff. Sometimes there's some recent stuff. Look at Invincible. I've been binging Invincible. I need to get back into that. Look, $5.99 a month. I get a ton of comics. More than I can read. Not... Oh, did some guy that I'm paying $8 a month, did he even make a comic this month? I don't know. Like, if people aren't willing to do $5.99 a month to have access to all this stuff, like, look, what if Jeff Lemire said, I'm going to go to Substack. You get Snow Angels for $8. I'll get one issue of Snow Angels digitally every month. Well, $5.99 a month, I get that already, plus, look, maybe you go, no. Okay, Marvel Unlimited. Maybe you're a big Marvel fan. Yeah, she doesn't have enough Marvel. Marvel Unlimited, $9.99. It's a little more, but you get all of Marvel's library. All of it. Including relatively new. So I think the downtime between hitting the store shelves and now hitting Marvel Unlimited is 3 months. It's really quick turnaround time. So, yeah, you may not be bleeding edge getting the book right, like, as soon as it came out. But, you know, if you can wait just a little bit, and a lot of people do. Like, face it, I read books late sometimes because I just get behind and I get backlogged. The next thing you know, I'm reading a book that came out 6 months ago, but I bought it and it's been sitting in my read pile, right? And if I'm a Marvel head and I'm like that, then I just Unlimited, boom, but I'll read it all. $9.99 a month. DC's got a similar thing. I think it's $7.99 a month. Or in fact, they might have even brought the price down. I just don't really look at them anymore because I think the Comixology is good enough for me. And I only really want to pay for one service. I used to be a Marvel Unlimited back before I got into the comics again, like collecting. I was keeping, reading some more. Anyways, so why do I want to go to this janky spend? So if I give, and not everything's $8. To be fair, James Tynan's Empire of the Tiny Onion is $7 a month. Look, I'm not against this existing. Creators, do what the hell you want. Try stuff out. Throw stuff on Indiegogo. Whatever's going to make you money, good for you. I got to tell you, what I'm seeing on here, this looks great. DC Comics, Black Label, House on the Lake. I mean, look at that. It's great art. Then I look at what he's going to be doing on here, and this is what I see. This is James Tynan. Where? Come on. There's a lot of... I'm like, this? Really? Two color? No. This is... For more money, I'm getting... This doesn't impress me. Does it impress you? Are you excited about spending all this money? He's charging you $7 a month for his whatever. And again, you don't even know what you're getting. Essentially, this model is using the old school patron model before capitalistic societies where, you know, especially like if you were an artist, you would find some rich patron to just throw money at you and you could just go pursue your hobbies. We live in a world today, I think, where artistic creators are kind of trying to do that. Saying services like Patreon, you know, just looking for a more crowd-funded sort of patrons to like, hey, throw money in my way. And so I don't actually have to sell a product. You just like me enough to give me money. And, you know, maybe this is going to work. Maybe Jonathan Hickman is going to get enough subscribers paying him $8 a month. We go down to here, the Substack. Where was it? No. Where was it? I got lost. I know it's on the home page. No. No. Anyways, on the main home page, there was a calculator of like how much can you make on Substack. And, you know, you put in how many subscribers you have, and it's like how much can you make per month. And so you don't need much. Like I think the basic one was like 800 subscribers, and the amount you can make was like $4,700 a month. And I was like, whoa, wow. So what I'm looking at is this is a system where it's like designed to become like boutique comics. Now this is something that the whole Comicsgate crowd is trying to push with the Indiegogo things about like, look, we don't need that many people to buy our books. We can sell these $25, $35 books. If we only sell 1,000 of them, that wouldn't be enough for a $3.99 book. We'd all go broke. No one would get paid. But if we can sell them for that, enough people are willing to do that, we can survive. Same thing with Substack. There's gonna be people who are willing to pay the $8, whatever. So what they're gonna do is it's going to shrink. It's going to become a more boutique type of thing. It's going to be more elite. And that's not a good thing. Comics are already overcrowded with elitism. We don't need it to be more. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think mainstream comics can be great. They used to be great. I don't think this is good for the industry. I don't think this is going to succeed. I just don't think people want digital. I think comics... $8 a month you can pay for Disney Plus. It's like I just don't see. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe you only need a couple thousand people to do this, and then boom, you're making your money and you don't care. And you go off. But I care. I know I'm not going to be doing that. And I think a lot of you listening aren't either. There may be a couple who go, oh, Asher, you know, I don't care. I got tons of money to blow. Okay, well, you know, hey, that's awesome. More power to you. But I hope you can at least see the picture. I don't think it's good for the industry as we know it. You know, it's gonna become like designer watches, right? That's a thing. For people who have money to blow, there's people that are really into the designer watches. 10 grand to blow on a watch, that's chump change for some of the real collectors. I'd probably never buy a watch again, even a cheap one, and much less an expensive one. But some people, my point is Rolex is still in business because of that small group of people. Ferrari, still in business because there's enough people that will pay for that Ferrari. So let me know what you think. I think this is a bad thing. I don't see it succeeding in a big term. I see it being small success, and maybe in the short term it'll be this hot fad. But the problem with the success is, oh, that's my phone. The problem is with the success is more people jump in, and then the slices of the pie get smaller. So we'll see. Give me your thoughts and feedback below. I'm really curious. I know this was a long video. I used to do these. I just really wanted to get this off my chest and talk about this because I feel like there's a lot of echo chamber. Not necessarily intentionally, but I think with the way the YouTube crowd is, it's really become polarized. It's become the everything sucks crowd, and it's all just terrible, and the industry needs to go burn in hell and everything. And then there's the other crowd, which is, no, the glass is half full, and comics are, and we're constantly forgiving any of the problems that we see. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this is a terrible thing that happened, but it's really not that bad. You know, it's like, because we want to just be positive all the time. And I don't fit in that, because while I'm very salty, I'm not the I hate everything kind of guy. I really do like liking things. I really want to be positive, but I don't want to be fake positive. I don't want to just ignore the stupidity. I don't want to ignore the things that I find faults with. And I don't feel like there's enough, like, just being able to go on both sides. And so I feel kind of like a black sheep sometimes. So hopefully I didn't think I was very salty on this one. But I'm not impressed. I'm not optimistic about this. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't see myself subscribing to any of these, which is disappointing to me, because I think more creators I like are going to get on this, and I'm just going to miss out. What's going to happen is I'm going to move on. I'm just going to, oh, okay, I'll go do other things. And the people that are left, I'm not going to go subscribe to Vita Ayala. You know, I'm not going to go buy her book because, well, she's the only one left at Marvel or whatever. Like, I'm not doing that. Right now, I'm in a good place because there's really good creators in the indie sphere. So even though I'm really upset about DC and Marvel, I'm getting my indie books, and I love what's going on over there. But if this were to all change and everyone's like, we can't do that old model's dead, we got to go to this, I'm out. But fortunately, there's other avenues of entertainment. I don't think this is going to kill comics. Like I said, I think this is going to be a flash in the pan for a couple of years. It's going to burn, and some creators will make some money for a while, and then it's going to simmer down, and we'll see James Tynion maybe back writing Batman in 4 or 5 years. You know, this seems to be. I was there under Image. Let's put it that way. When Image was like, oh my God, Image is gonna just kill comics. When they had the big 7 go over there, and you know, there was a really, really short time where Image was the #1 comic company as far as market share. I remember that, and this will not be that. Let me just put it that way. I've rambled on long enough. I really thank you for making it this far if you did. And thanks for watching.